Amtrak's brand new AIRO train sets are finally arriving in the Pacific Northwest. 8 of these 6-car trains are being manufactured in California by Siemens Mobility for use on the Amtrak Cascades route between Eugene, Oregon and Vancouver, BC. They will be replacing 2 Talgo Series 8 train sets built in 2013 and several Amfleet 1 type passenger cars that date back to the mid-1970s. The new Cascades equipment is part of an order for 83 train sets, most of which will be operated on Amtrak's northeastern services, including the Northeast Regional, Downeaster, Empire Corridor, Keystone Service, and more. Multiple different types of AIRO trains are being produced, most of which are being equipped for dual-mode diesel or electric power for propulsion. The trains that are being constructed for Amtrak Cascades will be pulled by 8 SC-44 type Charger diesel locomotives and 2 new ALC-42E type Charger locomotives that have been built as part of the new train set order. Each train includes a business class car, a cafe coach, 3 standard coaches, and a coach baggage cab control car with a built-in operator's cab. The first new train set was completed in July of 2025 and then went to the U.S. Federal Railroad Administration test track for certification. It then moved to Amtrak's high-speed Northeast Corridor for further testing and burn-in runs prior to formally being accepted from the manufacturer. As other train sets were completed, they were also sent to the Northeast for testing. Finally, the first set departed the East Coast on May 12, 2026, for Seattle, Washington, where a final round of testing and crew qualifications will be conducted over the summer. 3 of the new trains are expected to enter service in the fall of 2026. The first set made its way to Chicago and was then attached to the front end of Amtrak's long-distance Empire Builder departing the Windy City on May 14th. With the train expected to arrive on the morning of Saturday, May 16th, I knew I couldn't miss this historic occasion. I drove up to Wenatchee, Washington on May 15th with plans to chase the train on its way into Seattle the next morning. I woke up early on Saturday, May 16th to check the status of the Empire Builder. Seeing that the train was 7.5 hours late due to other train traffic and high winds in Montana, I made the decision to head east to Spokane to capture part of the route not normally seen in daylight. I managed to make it to Spokane with time to spare, so I met up with a friend at the bridge over the Spokane River. Located about 10 miles east of Spokane, the bridge is one of the last single-track bottlenecks remaining on this part of BNSF's Northern Transcon. This particular section, between Spokane, Washington and Sandpoint, Idaho, is known as the Funnel, in no small part due to the several dozen trains that pass through here on a daily basis. As the Empire Builder approached, a spring shower began, rendering me thoroughly soaked. Drenched from the brief downpour, I continued on towards Spokane. The Empire Builder would arrive into Spokane at 10:05 a.m., where the train was to be split into a Portland section and a Seattle section. P42 number 135 came off the front of the train to continue with the last 4 cars to Portland. This left Charger Locomotive 306 and P42 number 130 in charge of the Seattle section. Train 7 departed Spokane at 10:44 and then proceeded west across the High Bridge, leaving town. I next made my way to Ephrata, Washington, the only stop for the Empire Builder in between Spokane and Wenatchee. The storms of the morning had subsided, as blue sky was now showing through the clouds. This part of Washington is known as the Columbia Basin, with rolling grass-covered hills and farmland as far as you could see in any direction. At 1 p.m., the Empire Builder arrived into Ephrata, making a very brief 2-minute station stop. I managed to get ahead of the train one more time before it made it to Wenatchee. With heavy traffic in Wenatchee, I pressed on ahead of the train to a spot along the Wenatchee River in between Wenatchee and Leavenworth. The afternoon had become quite pleasant, and a number of people were out on the river for some whitewater rafting. Following a crew change, Train 7 departed Wenatchee at 2:13 p.m. I next caught up with the train at the west portal of Cascade Tunnel. This 7.8-mile-long bore is the longest tunnel in the U.S. Gold highlights are used on the doors of the business class cars to differentiate them from standard coaches on the Amtrak Cascades AIRO trains. Amtrak has made efforts in recent years to differentiate car types by using wayfinding accent colors as part of their latest paint schemes. Just east of Skykomish, I caught up with the train again, with the sleek new AIRO cars in tow. I got one final view of the Empire Builder on the east side of Monroe, Washington, about an hour and a half from the end of its journey. And that brings us to the end of our journey. From here, the cars were taken to the Seattle Amtrak yard, where a brand new facility is being constructed to maintain the AIRO train sets. Thanks for coming along to see the arrival of the first new next-generation Amtrak Cascades train. I'm looking forward to sharing even more with you as the new train sets are tested and enter service later this year. As always, a special thanks to all my supporters on Patreon. To receive notifications whenever I post to YouTube, click on the subscribe button and select the Receive All Notifications option. I'll be back next Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time for a brand new railroading adventure right here on the YouTube channel. That's it for now. Until next time, I'm Mike Armstrong. I'll see you down the line. Thanks for watching.